some nut job who has contact with an ET. They say, well, how does this factor into my everyday life? Well, at the outset, it doesn't, because it doesn't seem like it's connected. But it really is. It really is connected. It's connected to the big picture. The disharmony, the chaos that's going on in the world is being orchestrated. That's what I need everybody to understand. That's part of the plan. The chaos is the fraction, everybody sees fractions and fractured to keep themselves from coming together, to unite, to find this harmony and this vibrational, spiritual oneness, which is what we need to do. Not as a religion, but as a humanity, as a society. And I can't stress that enough. But it's not about, religious dogma. It's about energy. The energy of the driven idea that will change the world, that will literally unravel and open up the validity and the truth about what we're talking about today. I've dealt with this stuff for 14 years, and there are still people out there who tell me, that 1% of some of the email we get is negative, and that's understandable. Skeptical, that's fine. Skeptics can be healthy, but they can also be unhealthy. I don't deal with that side of it anymore. I don't have to. I've chosen not to. I'm too busy dealing with the 99% positive people who want to be online, who want to be on board, who want more understanding. I mean, there's not enough hours in the day to talk to those people, but I continually try to do it. I continually try my best, as my team tries our best to keep going. And, I've got a dedicated team of, some 30 people around the world who are actively continuing to try to get information to those out in the public who want to know how I feel and what's going on and what I've found out, what I've learned, new ideas, and that's what I've continued to do.
I've had my own thoughts on why they need to keep us separated, because if they bring everybody together and everybody's on board on the same plane of thought, dealing with this type of information as far as contact and believing in it, it would happen more. I think it would happen more if you got like 50 people together who had the same train of thought and had them out in the field. They would see something.
What do you think would happen if you had 50 million people thinking in the same direction?
I think the world would be opened up to that. They would just come. It would just be, we would see it in the sky like nothing.
That is the day when people will understand what disclosure is all about. Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take the unification of thought and idea. People coming together to open that door.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not about the government. It's not about documentation and releasing a bunch of paperwork that's, been in some filing cabinet for the last 50 years. It's about us expanding our consciousness and letting ET know that we're ready.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, the percentage of people is unfortunately pretty small. It's pretty small who are really, really ready to let this kind of information, expand and enter our lives on a fulfillment basis. And like I said, there's a ongoing disinformation campaign to keep that from happening.
It's just wild.
And it's sad. It's really sad. Because it's right there. It's right there in front of us. Just as much as I was a skeptic and a non-believer before any of this happened, You know, I can't deny it now. I can't, you know, no matter how hard I tried to deny it for the first few years, it was there. It was open, ripped open in front of me, and I couldn't deny it. And once I started to embrace it, then it happened more and more and more. Look, I'm still in contact. I mean, that's one thing I don't think people understand. This is not about something that happened, you know, in 1997. This is about something that happened, you know, a week and a half ago. I mean, this guy showed up, and he's standing there in front of us, basically communicating with me and a couple other of us. This happens all the time. This happens all the time. It's not just you know, a one-time thing. Once you open yourself up to it, they will come back and embrace you. I mean, people are talking about this stuff, but are people listening? That's my question. Are people listening? Or are they only waiting for somebody to step into the spotlight, up to a microphone, or who's written a new book, and they're only listening to those? Well, that's the sad point, is that those information mechanics out there are hoping and praying that nobody's listening unless they're standing in front of a microphone. And they're doing their damnedest to keep us away from those microphones.
Right.
And I think that's the reality of where this war is at, in front of our, you know, front doors every day.
Yeah, you had mentioned that you tried to speak at the National Press Club in April of 2010. Can you go into that?
Yeah, my team and I had been invited, not by the press club or the Association of the Press Club, but by some people who were attending. And we basically showed up and were basically barred at the door from entering, and said that, you know, we could not enter even though we had paid, even though we had, you know, gone through all the right channels to just be spectators. We were basically told we could not participate nor enter even as just viewers.
So you wasn't even going to speak. You were just going to be there watching, and they didn't want
Exactly. We were just going to attend like the audience. But again, here we have a situation where the bad guys are so concerned with controlling the atmosphere, the information that's out there, that they've created scenarios that look like public events, when in reality all they are is spectacles for the public to assume that it's some kind of disclosure event, when in reality it's a suppression event. It's lit. It's like, we're going to give you something to look at to appease you so you don't look any farther.
I got you.
You know, it's amazing to me that for as much as the public wants information, it's amazing to me how easily the public is swayed to look away and persuaded not to look any further. You know, there's an active group out there dedicated, absolutely ruthlessly dedicated to attack me, my case, and anybody who supports me and any information that we've given out. That's been actively set up to do this over the last 14 years. Doesn't anybody think that it's amazing that if my story is just a hoax, if it's just a made-up job, you know, does anybody think that it's amazing that people would spend 14 years actively building websites, sending people out into the field, sending people on interview programs, creating scenarios to actively destroy my credibility if my story is just a little hoax?
Right. Right.
I think that's kind of bizarre.
Makes absolutely no sense.
Right. And so the reality of it is that these people are so concerned, that people might get a taste of the truth, is that they continually kill the messenger. Let's attack the messenger. And that's what they've been out to do, not only for my case, but hundreds of other cases all over the world. But it's the proof is who's screaming the loudest. The real reality. Maybe there needs to be a reality check on who is saying that this isn't true. Who is saying that who's building websites and constantly trying to scream hopes that the sky is falling.
Right.
I no longer care about them. Like I've said many times, I really don't care what people say about me. They've said it all before. They've done it all before. And at this point, I really don't care. I have a whole other agenda. And my agenda is to deal with the people who already know that this is going on. They know the truth. They know the value of this information. And they want to learn from that information. They're no longer interested in lights in the sky. They're interested in who's driving the ships of the lights in the sky, because they know there's more information. So, the negative side of this, again, is only proving to steer people to those of us who do have information. And it's ironic to me.
Yeah, it's funny to me now, like the position I'm in now, where nobody can tell me it's not legit because of my own personal involvement in the stuff that I've witnessed.
Once you've seen it yourself, you realize that no matter what anybody says to you, they're not going to convince you that you didn't see what you saw.
Right. And the thing, I'm understanding a little bit more now, like, I'm having discussions with certain people that I tell them a little bit more than I would just come out and tell somebody in a video. I understand why you did the stuff that you did now. Because I really don't know. I think I might be in my own way selfish a little bit. I got the proof. I know it's true. I don't really care about proving it to nobody, so I don't have to have a discussion with nobody about what I know.
Well, people for years have said to me, I'd like to believe your story, but I don't. Can you prove it to me? And at this point, I basically tell them, no, I can't prove it to you. You're going to have to prove it to yourself. You're going to have to feel it. You're going to have to wear it, just like you'd wear a new shirt. And you're going to have to become comfortable with it to really understand it. You can't understand this in 5 minutes. You can't understand the enormity of what's going on, in just taking 5 minutes to listen to somebody speak. And I don't expect anybody to. It's an ongoing education, even for myself, even for what I've learned in 14 years. I learn something new every day that I didn't know before. Is it fantastic? Yes. Is it remarkable? Absolutely. Is it revolutionary? Yes. It's like ripping open a whole new universe of information to know that we're not alone, that we're not the most intelligent guys on the block, and that's okay. We don't have to be the most intelligent. We've never been the most intelligent. We are part of a bigger picture, and the bigger picture is what's important. Not that we're the most smartest on the block, because we're definitely not. But the reality of this, the importance of all this, when it really comes down to the end of the day, is that people need to find a way to unite together. Not only to discuss this information, but to discuss anything and everything that's important in their lives.